People who wear hoodies when it is 100 degrees out. Why? I can see many people commenting about how they want to hide their bodies or scars and injuries from self-harming. Just breaks my heart. I send my support for all those folks who deal with such troubles. My reason is much less sad. More weird. I have Raynaud's disease, or something similar to it. It causes the arteries in my extremities to constrict too much under exposure to cold or stress, or just whenever they feel like it, I guess. It's really random. Most of my family has it, as do my grandparents on my dad's side, so it seems to be genetic. We don't get overheated as easily as most people, and our hands and feet are pretty much always icy cold, no matter the day or time. If I'm wearing a hoodie outside, and the sun is blazing hot, and you could cook an egg on the sidewalk, I'm either legitimately cold or just haven't realized it's hot out there. My fashion in high school was put a hoodie on and suck it up. Is it 100 degrees? Put a hoodie on and suck it up. Is it minus 30 degrees? Put a hoodie on and suck it up. Word. Too lazy and poor to care about fashion, or what people thought. Sucking it up was what I was good at. Mosquitoes. They love me. I hate them. One time at summer camp, everyone in my cabin was attacked by mosquitoes overnight. But the camp staff treated us well, taking us to the first aid center instead of our first class for the day, and we got free ice cream. Nowadays I pay for my ice cream with money instead of blood. Self-harm. Not for a very long time now, but my early teen years I wore the same 2 hoodies constantly, even when I slept. After reading the question I assumed there'd be a lot of troll comments, but this is a factual reason I completely forgot about. One of my good friends, when I was 11 to 13, had cut herself to the point that both of her forearms were covered in scars from the elbow down. She always wore long sleeves and shorts in the summer. NGL, it's usually low self-esteem or confidence issues or aesthetic/fashion purposes, I guess, but I used to wear hoodies every day to hide my body, and I live in Florida, until I passed out from the heat one day. Mayo point. Body dysmorphia must be a lot easier to deal with in cold climates. You can just cover up 99% of the time, although I guess that might stop you ever confronting the problem. Depression is strange. I live in Texas, and I'd still wear a hoodie most of the time going to school, even if it was May. You wake up in the morning, when it is cooler outside, and your room is possibly cold too. The first thing you see is the same hoodie you wear every day, since it is easy and comfortable. Then you throw it on real quick and go. Not much thought. Gets regrettable when it is truly hot out, but at the time it just didn't matter to you. TX is also weird in the summer, because it's hot outside, but a store, restaurant, office, etc. may very well be an ARCTIC ice storm evac. I can get by without proper weather protection in the fall/winter, but if I don't have a wrap sweater or hoodie in the summer, I'm going to end up suffering somewhere. I'm more tattooed than I'm not. I wear a thin hoodie or long sleeved shirt fairly often in the summer, especially when driving, because the sun fades the shit out of tattoos and I don't always feel like putting on sunscreen. No sense in putting a lot of time and money into well done tattoos to have them fade. Because I was too lazy to put on a bra. I'll take the small discomfort of a little underboob sweat over the underwire torture anytime. And let's be honest, if you're walking to the bodega in a hoodie to avoid wearing a bra, you probably haven't showered today anyway, so who gives a fuck? I'm insecure about my body. Well, wearing a hoodie in 100 degrees will definitely make you feel hot. Because I don't like to carry a purse, but still need pockets for my few things: keys, phone, wallet. Women's clothing is so stupid. The pockets are typically too shallow to fit anything useful. Also, when a dress has pockets and I carry things in them, the items in my pocket hit against my legs when I walk. Who does solve these problems? I'm on the Asperger's spectrum, and something about the hood around my head makes my sensory issues much more bearable and makes me feel safer. Me too, but I prefer to do a 100% cotton sweatshirt and a beanie. I did this in high school, and I'm just gonna say it. I saw Anakin doing this in episodes 2 and 3 and thought he looked dope as fuck. I figured I'd look cool if I did this too. Summary. People with sensory processing issues, ASD, SPD, etc. People with poor body image, whether from dysmorphia, dysphoria, or being overweight/underweight. People physically covering up self-harm or psychologically covering up depression. Also sometimes track marks. People feeling unmotivated to wear bras or something more formal. Edit. What I believe we've concluded here is that if you know someone who persistently wears hoodies, sweatshirts, or long sleeve tees when it's inappropriate for the weather, think about checking in with them to make sure they're okay. The only innocent ASD is still a problem, and they might also need to be checked on because social isolation/comorbidity. One of these reasons is number 4, except if it happens regularly, it could be a symptom of depression. Thanks. Because it stops the staring, I have many scars running up and down all sides of my arms from self-harm. When I work up the courage to go outside with short sleeves, it often leads to a lot of people staring. Many times people bring it up, which really sucks, but even worse is when I hear other people bring it up among themselves behind my back. So I'm basically 15 years old kid, and I'm skinny as frick. I don't know how to say it in pounds, but my weight is 38 kilograms, which makes me not the skinniest guy in class, but skinniest person in class. My body is that skinny to the point my arms looks like bones, so I wear hoodies at summer to look kinda thick. Depression. I constantly fat shame myself too. I know the hoodie doesn't hide my 300-pound gut too well, but at least I don't have to look at it all the time compared to when I wear tank tops. Big boobs feel uncomfortable too, especially with a sports bra. Don't wanna get too cold. I scratched the hell out of the inside of my arms when I got nervous and then kept doing it because they always itched so bad. I wore a hoodie to cover them for a long time. They're better now, but now I just can't stand the cold. I got used to the hoodie. While we're at it, explain why people crank the ack and wear a hoodie and sweet pants around the house. Because my boyfriend is hot at any temperature above 67 F, and I'm cold at any temperature below 72 F. So we compromise at 69 F year round, and I wear a hoodie and sweats. There is something to be said for the right hoodie being worn when it's too fucking hot. I went on a hike a few years ago. It was 85-95 F and I wore my hoodie. It actually kept me relatively cool, and the shade around my head was fantastic. I used to do it. Not much anymore, but for sure insecurity. And I have eczema really bad, and people would say, "What's that on your arms?" Like I don't know it's there. I actually feel a lot hotter in contact with the sun than if I had a layer keeping the sun's heat rays of death off me. Sure, I could take it off, but then I'm relying on a cool breeze to keep me from heat stroke. Better I keep the hood on and just save everyone the trouble. A little bit of sweat beats legit heat stroke. I used to wear these because it's hiding so much. It keeps attention away from you. You don't have to think about your body because you can't even see any of it. It matches with everything, and the hoodie is so big that it doesn't cling to your skin. So you could be sweating buckets and it would take a while for your stench to reach the outside. Think of it as an invisibility cloak. I can hide so much under there too, lol, and it always fits. Multiple reasons. I'm a grown man, 5 feet 3 inches, 89 pounds, and therefore I'm always cold. I also have autism with huge sensory issues. Hoodies and sweatshirts make it easier to serve sensory and aesthetic purposes. I'm also a transgender man with an E-cup chest, so when my ribs hurt from overbinding, the material sits just right and doesn't draw extra retention points. As an MBB person, I gotta say, 89 pounds with E-cups and binding on top of that, I really do not envy your back pain. Good luck to you in wherever your transition takes you, but I imagine you'd be glad to be rid of those, lol. I'm almost twice your size with similar bra and I feel top heavy sometimes. I can't imagine. Hoodies for life. A few reasons. I was, and am, overweight and felt more covered and protected by wearing a jacket at all times. There was a period that I self-harmed and had to hide the evidence. I hated my clothes. I was never allowed to pick out what I wanted to wear until I started buying my own clothes. When I started driving, my jeans were too small around the waist and would dig into my hips to the point that they would blister and bleed, and all of my t-shirts were cheap and from the dollar store. They had cartoon characters on them, or bears with American flags. I knew I looked ridiculous. I'm still overweight, but I'm married, and my husband has boosted my confidence in myself so much. I feel more comfortable in my own skin, and don't try to cover up my entire body like that anymore. I do it because I'm non-binary, I'm dysphoric, and I don't want people to misgender me. It helps hide my long hair in my chest, and yes, sometimes I want to take it off because I'm dying of heat, but my insecurities don't let me. Edit. For right now I'm keeping my long hair, even though I may get misgendered for it. I'm kinda scared to cut my hair short.